Well, hello everyone. Welcome back once again to the VoV Network, where great things are always happening. My name is Brian, and I'm one of the co-founders here, and I'm joined by my other co-founder for the VoV Network, right next door, Mina, or in this case, Dr. Mina. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. So happy to be here. Been
Awesome.
looking forward to this
Yes, everyone, we have a special guest joining us today
one.
as we continue with our New Year, New You month. And Tracy is going to be joining us here shortly, and she's going to give us just a wealth of information on how we can kind of overcome overwhelm. Basically, focusing on the fact of with life, sometimes there's so much going on, it makes you feel like it's overwhelming to you, and you really can't accomplish or complete the goals and objectives and tasks that you set for yourself. And what she's going to be doing is giving us some different ways, insights, and some inspiration as to how you can better get a balance. But she doesn't call it balance. She actually says harmony in life. So those things work. So stick around. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back everyone. Mina, I know you are excited. So why don't you tell
I
us a little bit
am
about
excited.
Tracy and maybe how you met her and what this session is going to be all about.
Well, I've known Tracy for quite a bit. Tracey Vlahos is a speaker, a entrepreneur, business coach, holistic health practitioner, and most important, a single mom of two grown children. So now she's going to come and give us some great information. I met her working in direct sales and MLM, and she always was positive and gave us great feedback on getting ourselves together, for our lives. So now she's going to give all of us even more information. So, Tracy, we're ready for you.
All right. Well, with that said, without further ado, let's bring Tracy in and have her say hello to everyone.
Oh my goodness, Mina, Brian, Mina, thank you for
You're
those
welcome.
words. And it is such a pleasure. Thank you so much. And Brian, it's been wonderful to get to know you the last few weeks. And I love what both of you are doing here to help
Thanks,
others, right,
Tracy.
in their well-being. So thank you for allowing me to be with both of you.
Thank you for
Anytime,
coming.
you're most welcome. We're looking forward to it. We're super excited. So we're ready to get into this.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I love this month, what you said, like new year, new you.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that work life harmony. But I'm going to go back to new year, new you. I'm hoping by the end of this, right, you're going to have an enhanced you. We're going to take you and we're going to just enhance those parts of you. So how about
I
that?
like that
That
even
sounds
better.
yes.
Enhancing.
I personally, I'm all about just enhancing who I am. Now, I don't know about the both of you. I've tried to change a lot of things about myself, right? And create it. But
Yeah,
then I realized I needed to take what I had and enhance it and make it
right.
even work more. So there you
Right.
go.
Because
Exactly.
that's
So
how people fall off, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Thinking they're going to change everything and it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't, right? We've all done that before, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Brian, I'm not saying that men don't do this, but I always like to use this analogy with women, right? Every Monday we start a new diet.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
And
yeah,
most
Every Monday.
every Monday, but
yeah.
most of us, right? And by
Yeah.
No
day
bread.
two, we'll have a cookie or something, and who cares, right? One
Right.
thing, but
Yeah,
now all of a sudden, right? Like you said, Mina, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've blown it. I can't
yeah,
do it, right?
yeah.
But we'll talk about that mentality, and that's not true at all. It's about giving yourself grace, and it's
Right.
okay, and
Exactly.
every day and every moment, and just enhancing. So,
Yeah.
anyway, I am just thrilled to be here and to really talk about overcoming overwhelm
Right.
All right.
because and we can definitely start the slides, but I will just say for myself, this is going to be a great reminder for me. I want to say to the audience, I'm not saying I have all the answers. Every day, what I just said is a new day, right?
Mm-hmm.
It isn't like I have it down perfect, but it is one thing that is definitely something I'll be sharing that I've been able to apply, that it's kept me on track, and I've definitely enhanced what I've done to
Right.
overcome some of the overwhelm. How about that?
Right.
So I
That's
want to be really
perfect.
clear with the audience.
Okay.
Excellent,
Mhm.
excellent. Well, let's get into it then. Tracy, I know you have some great things to share, so we'll get started.
Ah, wonderful. Well, I am thrilled. Like I said, and I'm going to go ahead. You guys know who I am. I definitely
Yeah.
don't want to, every speaker's, I don't even want to look at myself. So I'll go to the next slide here because I want to share just a little bit more about, we just shared about the topic, right? And I want to
Right.
pause to say, because if there's one thing, Mina, you and I, we met in this very much so direct sales space, but that doesn't matter, Brian. Every bit of us, every day, we're juggling so much. And I really
Right.
believe with social media and everything that we're a part of, right? What I noticed was more and more, especially entrepreneurs and every single one of us feeling burned out, frazzled.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that's not success. That's not life. We're going to talk
Right.
about that. So how do we still manage and juggle all these things and not feel that way?
Mhm.
Well, before I really get to that topic, I would like to share just a little bit, though, about myself. That way, we can relate a little bit. I do have two wonderful children, and I first show this slide here
Oh.
because I want to say to the man or woman right now who's listening, my career started 25 years ago, and we'll get into it, like traveling 48 weeks a year, definitely never under 100 hours a week. So let me tell you, if there's anybody that I needed to get control of Overwhelm, but at that time, that my children were 5 months old. That's my son sitting there. They would die if they knew that I was showing this. And my daughter was 5 years old and we were at SeaWorld. Well,
Oh. Oh.
I'm going to share a little bit about my age probably right now is they are adult children. So I want to share with you how in the world I managed for 20 some years to go from still managing that 100 and some hours a week, becoming a single mom and all of that, right? We'll talk a little bit about that because life does throw curveballs at you. And how do you also, because I'm a realist, manage that?
Mm.
So I'm going to have you move to the next slide there for me. And here they are today. Now, this has been taken just a couple
Beautiful.
years ago. They're grown. You know how it is. We all have to show our family. I had to show them up. And then my son Chase and my daughter Felicia, who,
Beautiful.
right, in the middle of this, they had to be part of the work-life harmony that we're going to talk about and how we balance that, especially as a mom and a husband, as a career. You're so many of these different hats. But I also have one more thing that I always love to share is that I will share with you right now. My children, both their birthdays are coming up in April. They'll be 26 and 31. So almost 4 years ago, drum roll, next slide, my daughter
Oh.
gave me a little baby granddaughter. Now she's not
Wow,
here.
beautiful.
Oh.
I know I'm in Arizona. They are in Ohio. But why I show this is all of us, I want us to really work towards and know what is success for us and how we define that, because I want to talk about that. And what does that mean? Because success for me now, to be honest, there was a point in my life, I don't know about the both of you, I
Mhm.
wasn't present.
Right.
You want to know the truth? There were many nights sitting in front of that computer. They're going to bed. Oh, one more minute. Oh yeah, I'll tuck you in.
Yeah.
Just go ahead, get in bed. I'm gonna be honest with you. It'd be the middle of the night and they'd already fallen asleep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that guilt is, you don't ever get that back. I will say, not that
Mhm.
my children ever say anything, but I want us to be able to put things in place when I talk about overcoming the overwhelm, because success to me, and I have a feeling maybe for the both of you or those listening, was tucking them in,
Mhm.
saying goodnight,
Mhm.
being present in the morning. I will also just last to say, I also want all of you to be able to be present because I have a feeling that's success for you. Because I can remember one time ended up with a little kitten in the house, and they swore to me that I said, yes, I'm sure that they asked me enough times. I was like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. Right. We've all been there because we're not present. And
Yeah.
because of that, I ended up with a kitten. But anyway, enough
Yeah.
about that though. But in all seriousness, promise this. I want to get very real in the next, 45 minutes or hour, what we have together and talking about how to be able to put things in place to create that work-life harmony, no matter where you are in your life, whether you have grown children, not children, the many hats that you wear, and breaking that down. So thank you for allowing me to share a little bit about my family and my background.
Absolutely. It was just great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Is that
Oh,
you?
and this is simply just, and in the midst of
Oh,
that, I almost forgot about this slide, right? Is the traveling, right? So
yeah.
where do you also put boundaries in your work life, career
Mhm.
life, your business life, so that you can go out and have passion for what it is and you be able to show up authentically? Because
Right,
that was the thing as well, as I realized, is holistically, right? I had what was success at home, what was success in my career, what was success for me. We're going to talk about you, right?
right.
I think the most important thing, yourself, putting yourself first.
Mhm.
Self-care is not selfish,
Yeah.
Hmm.
because if you can go ahead, Mina.
You knew I was gonna ask you a question. I just wanted to ask you, looking at this picture, it's a little bit off the subject, but not really. We talked a little bit earlier about being nervous, right?
Yes.
What was that like to be standing in front of that audience? You had to be nervous.
Yes, yes. So I believe that probably particular audience, 20 or 30,000.
Wow.
Um, yes. We'll talk about
People.
doing things afraid.
Yeah.
Let me just share this right here, right? Being able to see people. But I will say the longest walk, I always say in my life, is from when they push you backstage in the curtain. There's always this back, right? There's a thing in your ear, and when you feel the push, you know you better start walking, right? And
Yeah.
that walk to get out to center stage, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. But what we said earlier, I mean, is I said, I had a mentor say to me, that's good.
Mhm.
That nervousness means you care and it keeps you humble. But I'll
Right.
Hmm.
also say, I won't get into it now. I can remember the first time, though, ever having to do that. And I think I probably looked like deer in the headlights. I was so nervous, and the lights in your eyes and you can't see. And here's all I know. No matter what, just keep smiling. So I'm going to give a tip to anybody. If you have to, never have a blank face. Even though it feels like, and you feel like you've held that smile forever, you just keep smiling. Thank you.
I think I've been there.
Keep smiling. All right.
Now back to the subject.
Yes. No, it's still. I wanted to just position everything and talk about, because so many people talk about work-life balance. And thank you, Brian, because it was great when we first talked about this. And I said, when you look at a scale, like right there, and you could even think grocery store, whatever, when something's balanced, it's perfect, right?
Right.
Well, so far, and I don't know what to do, I've never met anybody that is perfect and balanced.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So all of a sudden I had to switch my own thoughts and helping, like what you were saying, Mina, always being right, speaking to other entrepreneurs and doing different things.
Mhm.
How do you create harmony?
Mhm.
So that doesn't mean perfect balance,
Right.
but you can create harmony. It's a different mind shift. So I want everybody to walk away with today is overcome overwhelm. But really, when you reverse engineer it, we're going to do that. It's about work-life harmony that works for you, your family, your schedule. It's going to be a little bit different for all of us, but I want you to take a new look at it, just something different. Yeah. We'll have you move to the next slide. So I want everybody, though, I said in the beginning, sometimes we hear the word success. So if you are listening, or if it's a replay viewer or whatever that is, screenshot this, because lots of times we think success means money, success means wealth and big homes and lots of different things, right? We hear that word. But what I want you to do is think about, when I said in the beginning, success for me, I realized one part, tucking my kids in, slowing down
Mhm.
enough to be there. So what does
Mhm.
success look like for you in your home? I want you to really think about that. Your life. Does that mean just having
Hmm.
time to read a book or work out? Relationships in your life? And how about this body, this physical body that we
Yeah.
have? at the very end, so everybody stay tuned. We're going to talk about some tips because I think it's very holistic, but that's what I'm talking about when I say the word, what does success look like for you? Because that truly there for me. And then I want you, this bullet point here, right? Because sometimes we're so busy and hustle bustle, we haven't even slowed down to ever think about this. Like you may be sitting
Mhm.
there going, whoa, like I'm not sure I ever thought about that. What does it feel like? I'm going
Mm.
to say it again. What does success feel like to you? I think it's my next slide here. I believe because sometimes, and all of this, like for me, I'm going to tell myself, worked a lot, was trying so hard, single mom and all this. But you know what? Success should never feel like burnout, frazzled, exhausted, stress, and tired.
Mm.
You can still work hard
Mhm.
and even do that. Like I finally realized, what does 100 hours look like for
Mhm.
me in harmony?
Yep.
Still pausing, still saying goodnight, still making time
Mhm.
for me, but it should never feel like this. So if anybody right now is going, oh boy, that's,
Right.
I have a feeling it's not success for you. What is the feeling? Is it peace?
Mhm.
Right? Is it more calmness? But you still have the, hey, listen, we're still going to have this, but it
Mhm.
24/7. So let's talk
Right.
Yep.
about what we can do to
And
have that.
Tracy, we did a video, I can't remember which one it was called, but we talked about stress and we talked about the body's effects when you have stress, that your body will tell you that
Mhm.
you're having stress and extended stress, not just, a little stress from a situation, you had to go to a meeting, had to speak. No, that you're having it continually, your body will show up. You'll have your headaches, you'll have, you'll gain weight, your stress eating, there's a lot of effects that your body goes through, your heart rate, that you can see that you're stressed, right?
Mhm.
But you might ignore them and keep going on that wheel, that rat on that wheel, because you think you're trying to make success, right? Because success
Mhm.
is important. You think success is that money or that accomplishment or that position or whatever it
Yeah,
is in your employment, but it's bringing you down. It's tearing you down, right?
that's
Yeah.
right.
Can be.
That's right.
Tracy, I want to jump in there too. Talking about what does it feel like? Because that's a key term, not look like. What does it feel like? And
Mhm.
one of the things in today's culture, we hear a lot called something the hustle culture. If you want to
Mhm.
succeed, you've got to work harder than everybody else. And you got to do this, you got to do that. You got to be up to 3 a.m. And those are a lot of the messages that are out there about what it takes to succeed, right?
Right.
And this, what's interesting is what you're saying now is actually a little bit counter to that,
Mhm.
but not that you still don't have to get out and hustle to be successful,
Yeah.
but to figure out where the quote unquote harmony is in your life so that you don't
Mhm.
get to an extreme burnout, frazzled, exhausted, etc.
Mhm.
So I think this is great information because a lot of
Mhm.
what is out there about how to be successful is you got to
Right.
hustle and grind and grind and grind and grind. And maybe that's really
Mhm.
not it. And I think that's kind of what we're going to share today. That'll be beneficial
Yeah.
for some people.
And
That's
I
it.
think you're oh, sorry.
No, that's absolutely it, Brian.
I think you're also going back to the values again. We keep coming back to this, but on our videos, but it
Mm,
sounds like what's important to you. Like you were talking about being present and being there for the children and being present in your life, and that's your family is what you value most,
Yeah.
yes.
probably. So being
Yes.
present and being there is what you
Right.
value. So is that success if you're off doing it, it's burnout and frazzled and exhausted because you're trying to make this position, this money, this whatever, but you're not present for the family. Is that your
Right.
success? That's not what
Right.
you're valuing or what your goal is. So, yeah,
No, no,
sounds like you're saying that, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, 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 don't be sorry. This
I
is
wanna-
exactly what we're saying because reality is so real about hustling, but understanding what success feels like, but creating that harmony. So it's definitely different. So I hope everybody
Mhm.
really is present to this. So
Mhm.
know that you can, quote unquote, I believe, however you define success, have it all.
Right.
So
Mhm.
your words are important. Yeah. I'm gonna
Yes.
have you move to the next slide. Yeah. Um, okay. I'm gonna tee it up so we can just get in. Are you ready? Everybody, I want you
Mhm.
screenshotting this, right? Because
Yeah.
I put this in red. I need your attention, please. All right? Your body, your mental health, and your heart cannot sustain long periods
Mm,
of burnout, stress,
mhm.
and exhaustion. You are not working this hard to someday, what you said, Mina, to it affects your body so bad that you are down and out. I know so many people who got to retirement age and was not able to then
Right.
finally travel, finally do this. So, like, you know
Right.
what? We're all of us here together. Let's hold hands. We're going to break that cycle right
Mhm. Yep.
now. Right. So, what are some of the things that we can put in place? So, let's get to the root cause of what's really causing this. All right. So, I'm going to go ahead, next slide. I threw that back in there. But before I do, I want you to think about three things. Here's what really, just for the audience to know, in traveling like I did, I mean, literally for probably about 18 years, 48 weeks a year or so, right? People always said to me, so I'm going to give you all the secrets and tips to this, at least what I've learned, and apply it for yourself. How do you have so much energy, Tracey? I got asked that. I'm a journaler. I love to journal. So I love to hear what people are asking me and over so I can, come up with a solution. And it was like, oh my gosh, how do you have so much energy? You're a mom, you do all these things. Well, our energy is important to us. So I'm going to help you in understanding, and do you get your energy back? Because so many people said, please, I feel so tired, right? Are you
Mhm.
always so positive? I know, Mina, we've always talked about this.
Yeah.
They're like, Tracy, you're the same in person as camera, as whatever. I get that all the time. But they're like, we
Right.
know, like all of us, we've got the stress of, being the single mom
Mhm.
and doing everything.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about our words and our thoughts and putting boundaries in place so that we can stay positive and we feel better and our cortisol isn't going crazy and causing all that havoc that we just talked about our body. Now I'm going to
Mhm.
giggle. I always giggle at this one because everybody will see what I mean at the end. And then number three, I mean almost verbatim. I'm very intentional about what I put in my body because it does affect my energy level, my mood level, my stress level, and these things.
Mhm.
Like, what do you eat out of those baggies? Right? Because I was always
Yeah.
traveling, but I was intentional. We're talking about self love. Like, I knew that I was worthy to take the time of what fuel I put in my body because I needed to show up for me to be a good mom, to be a good business partner or colleague, and also speaker. So, right there, we're also going to talk about what are some of the things that you can put in place even today to start having that energy that you desire, and feeling like I've had more women at least say to me, Tracey, I feel like I'm trapped in a body that's not mine because of the stress, the cortisol, and different things. So we're going to talk about, right, energy, mindset. We're going to talk about boundaries. I think that's where we better start getting
Yeah.
started because it's all going to come back to one thing. Okay. So I'm
Yeah.
going to have you move to the next slide because I really want people to think about this. But before we
Mhm.
get to boundaries, because I almost got ahead of myself, I want to pause for 1 second. This was a little tip, and I know that both of you have covered this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but
Mhm.
can I just say right now, everyone, I'm going to give you a tip that's going to help you. You've heard it before, and that is gratitude. We
Mm.
said everybody was like, well, I'm not going to be happy until I have the bank account, until I have
Yeah.
the body. I'm not going to be happy until I
Yeah.
have this spouse I want. And then you get the spouse, you're not even going to be happy because you're not happy because you don't like them either. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
happy with the car and you're not happy, right? That energy, you have to be able to shift that. And I knew every day getting up, doing what I did, see, I could still work the 100 hours, but not be frazzled because I will tell you, I remember every day. So this, I'm going to just give this to everybody. Before I'd get up in the morning, I'd always look at the ceiling above me and I'd say, thank you for the mattress on my back. Thank you that I have a roof over my head, right?
Mhm.
Thank you when I put my feet on the floor, and I'd say thank you if it took me 20 steps or if I was in a hotel, whatever it was, and turned on the water. Can I tell you, instead of waking up to all that stress and already starting, because that can get in there, and I would just stop and I'm thinking, I am spending 2 minutes and I'm going to say thank you for everything imaginable. It would set my day. Your morning routine, how you wake up and the way you speak to yourself and get going, huge. At
Yeah.
night, I had this little red stone. It's downstairs. I would carry it with me and it's beside my bed. And before I go to bed, I pick it up, it's whatever. And I say thank you for three things, the most simplest things in life. Because
Mhm.
what you go to bed on, your thoughts are going to fester inside of you.
Mhm.
You're gonna dream about it.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
you're going to
Very
dream and
true.
your
It's
cortisol and you're
I'm
not
not
sleeping.
Mhm, mhm. That's
Okay.
very true.
So
And
it
Tracy, another thing, just to chime in on that, we actually did a video. Mina and I did. And it's on our YouTube channel, and the title of it is "A Gratitude State of Mind," and that's really what it's all about, and that's
Mhm,
exactly what you're
mhm.
talking about. So, very
yes.
important thing.
Yeah.
Very important. So all this, the key to, and I'll just make one more example so we can move on is, there was one point in my life. So I want everybody to just please, whatever this pertains to, I felt very just nudged right now to share this with you is I really did want a new car. I wanted a car, right? Single mom, whatever. And I really felt like, and I'm a Christian, it doesn't matter, but that God spoke to me and was like, you don't even love the car you have. So every morning that I know I won't get into because I like you said we could do a whole other topic, but the both of you covered that. So whoever right now, please go back to both of this because I want Brian here in a moment to share what that was. You can go back to it. All of a sudden, every day when I got in, again, right, the rock was it, the mattress on my back. When I put my hands around the steering wheel, I was like, thank you. Thank you.
Mhm,
I have a car. It's paid for. It runs. I can
mhm,
get. I mean, all of a sudden that shifted for me, and that gratitude for the car that I had,
Yep.
right, brought in so much different energy. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
those little things. So, but Brian, before we
Mhm.
move on, what can you remember what that was for the both of you? Because I want everybody to go back to it. It's so important to this key of work-life harmony. Is one of the did you do a video? Is it called
Yes.
oh, I can't remember what it's
It
called now. Mindset.
it's called a gratitude state of mind, and
Okay.
Okay.
really it's just talking about just what you're saying, shifting your mindset so that gratitude is kind of how you fulfill yourself each day, and being appreciative for what it is that you do have, and not being so, because it changes your energy. It also
Mhm.
changes what you draw to you because people see that you are grateful.
Mhm.
So it's a complete shift in just your mindset, your energy, your spirit. All of that kind of changes when you kind of revolve it all around being more grateful and showing appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah.
Right? Because
And
peace is
I
successful.
I wanted to say that I really get the whole travel thing and wearing your body down because my jobs, I do a lot of travel. And you can really get up in the morning, get off that bed, and walk, shuffle to that bathroom because you know it's another time zone, totally different time zone, and just go about your day just dragging and just trying to get through it, right?
Yes.
And I really think the gratitude helps, really being
Hmm.
grateful about, I have this opportunity to see this new place, or maybe it's not new, maybe you've been there before, but to experience something that I don't experience every day. You got new cultures or whatever's going on, and to just be grateful about God or whoever you believe in
Right.
waking you up so you can enjoy this and have this because when you retire, you won't necessarily be doing all that, right?
Nope. Nope. So that is
Enjoy it.
number one, what we're
Yeah.
talking about, right?
Mhm.
And then I kind of shared a little bit of it, but that first, so you have to get your mind so that you can put
Mhm.
everything applying what we're going to talk about. But
Right.
next is like boundaries. I got ahead of myself a few minutes ago. I super apologize. But let's get into boundaries because
Next
now
slide, right?
gratitude, we're being thankful no matter where we are, right?
Hmm.
Um, but we really wanted to stop, and I apologize. Say, can we pause again? Brian and me are going to be like, "Oh, Tracy, you're getting so ahead of." Can I pause to keep it real? Because people
Yeah.
do know me about keeping it real. Can I say this? I forgot about. I threw this. This might have been the last slide I threw in because can I pause for one moment? Because people will say different things to me. Oh, Tracy, I want to talk. How could I be positive, Tracy, and gratitude in negative situations? So I want to make sure because me and Brian give so much value. And I was like, oh, I want to keep it real like they do. And I want to be able to show up and give value as well. And I want to talk about something. Maybe it is a loss of a job or a bad relationship.
Hmm.
And I want to say this. I've been there. I remember that loss of a job. That's stressful.
Mhm.
Money, finances, there's many different things.
Hmm.
And so I have to walk what I talk, right? And I remember going through this. And so what I'll encourage you to do is in the middle of all of that, I would write down, I wish I probably could even find, but I won't, my notebook, what I learned, the skills I learned. Thank you so much for this period of time that I learned this. Thank you
Mhm.
that I was able to pay my bills for X amount of years. Thank you for that I met this person. Thank you for the next journey. I'm telling you, it's hard, but when you start that gratitude, even in a bad and negative, I'm going to call it, just for lack of a better word, let's keep it real, a negative
Mhm.
situation that's very real for some. I
Mhm.
promise you that shift, Brian talked about the energy that comes in, you're going to see. Even a divorce. I mean, I've had so many
Mhm.
people, and obviously I said I'm a single mom, so obviously I've been divorced, and sometimes, whatever it is, and I love relationships. I love helping people with relationships, but sometimes it can be. And I remember having to write down everything I was, and there was one period of my life, this was before I was this good about gratitude. I was like, oh, what? I got to write down. It's true. I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you. Okay. But you know what? There was
There.
so much. My children. Oh my goodness, the vacations we took, the
Mhm.
family. I had to shift everything because it's all just a season of life. And when you can
Mhm.
only now, I share it, I can connect every dot, whether those dots seem to be at the time negative or high. It's beautiful. So I just wanted to one quick tip that if you're listening and you're going through a negative situation, you're thinking, well, that's good and great, Tracy, Mina, and Brian, right? About this
Mhm.
gratitude. Here's,
Mhm.
I want you to practice it. It will take time, but you'll feel it. So anyway, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's quite all right. Absolutely good. True point.
Are we finally going to talk about boundaries? Yeah. See,
Yes.
Yes.
I've been saying them for how long now? Oh my goodness. Let's talk about boundaries. And here's what I mean about boundaries. Next slide. Okay. Here's exactly what I mean. Because and I wanted to like put this different, when you have boundaries, what we're going to talk about, and that's going to be about the power of no, you get to serve more people. But guess what? You get to
And
serve
yours.
yourself.
Right.
Yes.
Yourself. And when we can, that's what everything is going to go back to. Self-care is not selfish. So let's talk
Right.
about those boundaries. Okay. All right. That means the power of no. Now I want to,
Number 1, right?
you see this little girl? Do you see
Yeah.
she put her hand up?
Yeah.
Who
Mhm.
knows? She's probably 2 or 3. I can't tell. And you know what? Here's what I always say. Toddlers have no problem saying no. Eat your peas.
Yeah.
No. Pick up your toys.
No.
No. Come. No.
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 No. Yeah.
No is even a sentence with exclamation marks, right?
Right.
Adults, especially, we do not know how to say no. And that
We
not
don't.
saying no. But if we can, next slide, why do we feel bad for saying no? First, we need to discuss that because I want to share with you how you can say no in a way that feels good to you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have you go next slide. We're going to talk about boundaries. I just said the language of no and renegotiating commitments. I almost forgot about that. What if you said
Mm.
yes to something and now it really, after this year, like Tracy, it isn't serving me? How am I going to, in a gracious way, and not look like the bad person? So
Right.
can we go through these 3 things: setting boundaries, language of no, and renegotiating commitments, just in
Mhm.
case, because this is going to bring that harmony in your life. Okay.
Tracy, I can't tell you how many times I've said yes, maybe to an event or something, and I'm sitting there going, "What am I doing here? Why did I say yes to this? I'm not gonna do this again," and find myself
Mhm.
back in that situation again because I didn't say no.
Mm-mm. Well, I need
Stress.
to listen to this as well. Believe me, as I share with everybody, I'm really good at it, but sometimes I love when I can speak on because I need to hear it. So let's
Mhm.
talk about that because how easy it is to do.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about the setting boundaries, and that's really the next slide.
Okay.
Okay. So what I mean by that, first of all, is why don't we say no? Let's put it out there so that
Mm.
you know why, so we can reverse engineer and get to the root cause. We don't want to feel guilty,
Yeah.
right? Guilt is really bad. So we say
Mhm.
yes. But then, right, the stress of it. Uh, we do not want to disappoint other people. Oh
Right.
my goodness. Nope. We don't want to disappoint them and feel bad. Fear of
Mhm.
conflict. If we say no to somebody, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they're going to be mad and upset at me, right?
Mhm.
We want people to like us. Oh my gosh, if I
Yeah.
say right, and they're not going to like me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to be able to buy some time. We've all done that. So we've said, yes to things because we want to buy time with them and we really
Mhm.
know, right? And
Right.
last one, we don't know what to say because of the guilt, the disappointment, and the conflict. So I want to put that out there first for everybody to realize is that you got to understand what is the why. So now we can take that and start
Mhm.
shifting it.
Yes.
Okay. So, Brian, I saw you shake your head. Yes, right. We've all
Mhm.
felt this
Yeah.
way
Mhm.
before.
Yeah, really, because and again, it's ironic, but that's the truth. We did a video 2 weeks ago, and that's the exact title of it is "What is your why?" I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
Mhm.
So could not agree more that that's the critical piece of it. You've got to dig and dig down, and when you're asking that question, it's not that first layer, and it's like, okay, I answered that, but then now what? But then I answered that, but then now what? Because you got to get down 3, 4, maybe even 5 levels to
Mhm.
truly get to the root of the why behind it and why it either does or
Mhm.
doesn't make sense for you.
Yes. Yes.
And, I can think of it even a little deeper. I can think of a specific situation where I haven't said no, but I don't do it. But it's a no. It's a hard no.
Mhm,
I won't do it, but I don't say no. I won't say why. I just don't. But there's a reason, and I know the reason. But the person doesn't understand,
mhm,
and they take it personally sometimes. And it's not even about a personal it's not a personal thing. But
No, that is so good.
but the why is because I don't wanna disappoint, want them to like me, don't want them to feel bad, but
mm,
it's just not saying anything, you know?
mhm.
Absolutely.
Same thing,
So
same
we're
thing.
dodging,
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's passive aggressive, and we've talked about that as well. So
Yeah. But it's
right?
not an intentional passive
No
aggressive, it's just avoiding the all of
avoidance.
those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm,
avoidance.
mhm, mhm.
So now, well, let's take this because what it could have been a more perfect tee up, and I know you don't even know the next slide is
I
exactly that.
had
But then sometimes we fear because fear will make us like not say anything, right? We just
Yep,
stand in our tracks, but then the
yep.
perception to the other person, right?
Mhm,
So before I go through this, here in the beginning, when I said, will you please, and it will take time and it may not be today, when I said, what is success for you? What does it feel like? And I talked about for me, I realized that I was so stretched thin. Of course, my kids knew I loved them, but I wasn't showing up for them, which made me
Mhm,
feel guilty. I wasn't giving myself enough time to work out or do this. And the
mhm,
feeling that I was getting was bad, that I realized that feeling of being able to show up, have peace, still work, hustle, and hard, but be different. Okay. You have to understand your why. So if you're shaking your head, yes, because you're like,
mhm,
yeah, this year I need better time management. I want to be able to do X, Y. I need to be able to even read a book or whatever. You have to know that first because I want everybody to follow along and even screenshot if you would like. I literally 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine, we're out, and it was her friend that was with us. I didn't even know the woman, but she said, I just want to be able to show up more for my kids, Tracey. I don't know how. And I said, well, why? She said, I know I need to spend more time. I go to bed. I'm guilty. Right. And I
mhm,
said, hey, so here's what I'm going to say to you. And then why I want to raise screenshot is you need to know that why, because this. Perhaps you say something like, I would love to, but I can't right now. For this period of time, I'm really concentrating on giving more time to my kids.
mhm,
See, when you can share something like that, you just said no with no
mhm,
get. And here's the phrase. I actually meant to put this in here. And when you can say that, like your why you're saying no to them, because just what you said, Mina, they don't even understand. But
mhm,
now what they understand, they're
mhm,
like, oh my gosh, I get it. Okay. Because then you say something like that, and then you say, I'm sure you can appreciate that.
mhm,
That is my favorite line
right.
ever. I'm
I'm
sure you
sure
can,
you can appreciate that.
because I'm
mhm,
telling you, if somebody comes back to me and says, I do not appreciate you want to spend more time with your kids. I do not
No.
appreciate that. If they were, or I
yeah,
do not appreciate that you want more time for your health. I don't appreciate that you're trying to give more time to build this business. I don't appreciate, right? That you're trying to give
Mhm,
more time to your
mhm,
husband, whatever. If that,
mm,
well, that's a whole other topic. Okay. If somebody, But
Yeah.
Mhm.
have to know your why behind this so
Yeah.
you can say, do you see this? Like now we can.
Mhm.
I'd love to be able to contribute to this. Like maybe it's an event where you was just talking about. I'd love to be able to. But during this period of time, I am really trying to show up for X, right? Whatever that is, that's why I said in the beginning, you need to understand what success looks like and feels like. And then that, and say to them, I'm sure you can appreciate that. But then you can say, but don't, but listen, next event, please reach out again. But just during this period of time, I'm really
Mhm.
focused on this. I know you can
Right.
appreciate that.
Mhm. Yep.
Right.
Dog. Yeah.
I want to give examples, right? I'm sorry, I'm not able to, whatever that
Yeah.
is. But during this
Yeah.
period of time, or here's what's going on. I'm sure you can
Mhm.
appreciate that. They all are saying the same thing.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
using your words, but I
Right.
want you to be able to set boundaries and say no so that you can have peace and success.
Right. Right. Mhm.
Okay.
These are perfect. I did
Yes.
screenshot them.
Yes, I had to tell you, my daughter, who, like I said, is gonna be 31, I had to help her just a few weeks ago. She's a people pleaser, not right. It's
Mm.
all of our strength is our biggest strength, and also, our biggest
Mhm.
limitation. And she's so upset and exhausted all the time. So I said, "Let me type it up for you, and please put it in your notes section." I literally said this to her, and change it and copy and paste it. I said, "The first time you do it, your flesh, you're gonna be scared. You're gonna be like want to throw up because you're saying no."
Yeah.
Literally, right? You're like, they're not,
Mhm.
you don't even know. And I said, but you're going to hit send. And each time, and that person comes back and says, oh my gosh, I understand. Thank you. Then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. They do
Yeah.
still like me.
Mhm.
It's okay
Yeah.
to say no
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
gracious way. So,
Yeah.
anyway, there
Yeah.
you go.
Tracy, I want to chime in on that because no, the power of no is huge. And one of the things that I learned many years ago in my professional career is, just, as you said, trying to keep some kind of balance or harmony and everything that's going on.
Mhm.
And how I learned to say no and train myself was similar to this. And I would just point blank say no. I mean, it's like, no,
You
I
do a
can't.
good job in saying no.
However, but then I would always follow, however, I can do this, or I am willing to do that. So that put me in a position still of being in
Mhm.
control and having more power over the situation.
Yeah.
So it's a no, but,
Mhm.
and that was my way of kind of easing the tension of it and the stress of having to use that so often. But it does give you a position of a little more control, a little bit more
Mhm.
management of your own personal time and situation.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, no. However, here's what I can. Okay,
Yeah.
Brian,
He
I'm
just
gonna take
negotiated.
that on as well. That is so good.
He negotiated pretty much. This is
Yeah.
what I
Mhm,
can do for you.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Well, let's talk about that because I believe the next slide is about, uh-oh, right? You committed to something that is not serving you, right? Giving you stress. Now what? What are you going to do? Because, right. And we've all done it before. So now I want to help you in giving you language. And please, Brian and Mina, chime in on this one because I want everybody, right? This is so huge. I believe success and everything chimes from all of us that we're teaching. And so that next slide is like, uh-oh, now what? Okay, Tracey, I hear you. Yeah, I've already said yes to 3 things this year, or just one, doesn't matter. What am I going to do now? So I'm going to have you move to the next slide. And
Ah.
here, renegotiating a
Mhm.
commitment. So for me, and please chime in, what I learned is I have to take responsibility and explain the
Mhm.
Mm.
shift. And I'm going to give everybody, right? Because here, right, this isn't fun, but I
Right.
want to at least give a couple examples, right? Acknowledge any repercussion that this could have, for that person. Again,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you guys a couple examples, right? Maybe
Mhm.
negotiate a different outcome, Brian, right?
Yeah. That's Brian.
I love this. I love this. Of course, as I always like to say, be graceful, honest, and firm,
Mhm.
right? So I'm going to give everybody an example, and please, I'm going to be quiet because this is real, so raw.
Mhm.
And I decided that my kids, because of the guilt, to be honest with you, I thought I would sign up for 3 different PTA club things. Seriously, guys, Anyway, yeah, because I'm gonna be like a super mom, and they're gonna love me and look at me. Because right, I want to think that oh, I can do it all. Oh my
Right.
goodness, everybody, right now, break that. That's ridiculous. So, oh my, I had to call the PTA president. And let her know that I had to back out of because they could see, just
Oh,
like the 3 of us and everybody listening, I know we're
yeah,
overachievers. It's okay. We love
yeah,
it,
Thanks.
right?
Right.
That
yeah,
I could not be taking on all 3 of these.
right.
So, I had to call her and let her know, right? And her name is Mary Smith. Right. And, I had to let Mary know, "Mary, I know I get so excited." I told her, "I wanna be able to take on everything," and I love because I just helped in passing, like, the school levy is how this happened, and so everybody was anxious, "Oh gosh, look, she can do that, she can take on everything." No. So, I explained that, and I said, "Mary, I'm gonna have to back out." I said, "Listen, I understand," and you can imagine, like, "Oh my gosh," right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
I explained to her, "Mary, I already work X, and I really and my kids, this is when this shift, you can tell when this was happening in that nighttime routine. Can you
yeah,
this was my pain point that got me going, right?" And so I'd explain the shift, why. And I said, "I know this is really gonna put you in a bad spot." I may have used the word hard spot, but I explained that. I said, "But Brian, like you," I said, "but what I'm willing to do is to ask others. I know I'm going to help you in filling this. Are you okay with that?" How did, right? I just said,
yeah,
I was excited. I had explained the shift why. I knew it was going to put her in a bad spot, right? Here she is, like, what the world? But
yeah,
now you have to negotiate that different outcome. But can I
right.
help you? I really felt like, at least for me, that was really good. I could renegotiate that and be able to help. So again, an event, anything going on, the sooner the better. But think
Right.
about that. Explain how you're going to make the shift because most people can appreciate that. Member, I'm sure you can
Yeah.
appreciate that. Hey, I want to acknowledge what it's going to do to you. But Brian King, now I know, Brian, I'm going to be texting. I need a different outcome. So I need to help you because I do, right, be graceful and on because all of us, right? I still want
Yeah.
people to like me. Let's still be real. I don't
Mhm.
hurt my feelings and really there. But Brian, you probably have a lot more to say on this one than me.
I mean, like you said, renegotiating your commitments is, um, I always think of a commitment as a living, breathing thing anyway, right? Because you commit to
Mm,
something, but circumstances always change. And that's
Mhm.
the circumstance of you and your personal individual life, as well as whatever it was you committed to, how you knew it, what you understood it to be, what it actually meant could morph
Mhm.
in all kinds of different ways based on what's
Right.
happening in over time. So yeah, I've always kind of approached those things as kind of living, breathing entities, and you have to either uh, move with it if you can, and then sometimes it gets to a point where you can't. It no longer is a good fit for you in your life, or what the requirements are don't really match up with what you want to bring to the table. There's lots of different pieces and parts that I think
Yeah.
come into play, and the key is honest communication, honest self-talk too. I think self-talk
mm,
is another piece of it. And we always hear that term thrown about. What is self-talk all about? But being realistic with yourself, or are you trying to take on too much, or trying to do too much just so others look at you a certain way, so that you feel like you're being appreciated? And at times, as I said, sometimes you're like, you know what? No, I can't do that. I can still maybe do
mm,
this piece of it. And if that doesn't work, then we'll have to figure out a different way to get this taken care of. But at the
Mhm.
end of it all, you really do have to look at self and how it is going to work into, as we said, your whole work life harmony thing.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
I got having a great example. So,
Mhm.
I've done a lot of different direct sales, and even when I really wasn't thinking I was doing it, MLMs, I started way back with Oriflame, and I loved Oriflame. They were from Sweden, I think. Anyway, so what I've done, like, more recently, I was involved with another company, Vic, and I still am, but, like, posting once every now and then my product. That doesn't get you anything like sales. So I realize that I don't have time for different I have another company I'm with it. I don't have time for all of these companies and still be involved with VOV. So for me, I don't really have to apologize to anybody or renegotiate with anybody because it's my business. It's what I'm going to put in. But the
Mhm.
person who signed me up, she might need to understand it, but she does. She might want to know, but sometimes they don't understand. Sometimes you do have to explain to those people that are above you and signed you up because they're going to they wanted you to produce, so they make more money, right? So
Yeah.
Mhm.
explaining to them and renegotiating that, I'll probably still buy stuff under my name in my company, my name, and so there'll be a little bit of money coming in, but I won't be selling at the level that you might want me to sell at. I just can't handle all these companies and VOV. So,
Mhm.
that's a good example for me on how it's happened for me. You think you can take on all these things, right? I don't have any kids to raise right now, but I think I can take it all on, but it's a lot. If
Yeah.
you
Too
wanna be
much.
successful, you can't be just posting once a week or once every 2 weeks and thinking somebody's gonna buy something. You have to really put yourself into it. You have to go live. You have to do stuff to be active and people see you active in order to make a progress, and nobody can save you or do anything for you. You have to do that. So, yeah, that's for me, that's a good example.
Yeah, I love that. It's almost renegotiating with yourself too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
Mhm.
said,
Mhm.
"Ooh, VOV is important to me. I wanna
Mhm.
Mhm.
help." I love, Brian, when we met and you said, "This platform," and I wrote this down years ago, you said, "I wanted to help humankind." I will
Mhm.
never
Mhm.
forget that. I want you like, people say things to you in your life, and I want you to know that has stuck with me, right?
Mhm.
Humankind on all levels, like, all these different things, and Mina, I hear you, that's what you're saying, like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
you put time into things that are important to you, and it's
Mhm.
okay then to put boundaries for others. This is
Mhm.
important for you to help the bigger humankind."
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was beautiful. Okay. So we've talked about boundaries, know the power of no, but understanding your why, how to say it, even how to renegotiate a little bit. But let's also move on then to one more thing, right? That's important. I say, let's discuss you. You
Most important.
You are the most important,
The
right?
VIP.
Oh my gosh. I mean, how many times we are afraid to not keep the commitments to everybody else, but
Yeah,
we break our own commitments
that's
to
right.
ourselves. I'm
Mhm.
All the
guilty
time.
too, right? I'm
Yep.
glad we're all like, thank goodness
Yeah,
not just me. I mean, thank God everybody.
we do
Yep.
it.
Yep.
I was like, "Oh my goodness, you are the most important thing." And so I
Yeah.
said in the beginning, so we are going to talk about, right, that power of positive talk. I said what people talked about, right? Your mind first and the way you look at things. We talked about gratitude, but putting boundaries in place because you understood what success was for you, what that looked like. But let's talk about this as a human body that
Mhm.
really, I think, Mina, you said in the beginning, because that stress level, the
Right.
cortisol then, and then the cortisol, what is doing,
Mhm.
I won't get to the anatomy because I also went to school for holistic health, but that was most important
Mhm.
is I didn't want to see people feeling like they weren't taking care of them because when you are happy, again, I want to say this one more time, self-care is not selfish. So let's talk
No.
about you. Okay. It's January. It's a new year. And I love when you said it's a new you, a new enhanced you, just enhanced. We're
Mhm.
just going to enhancing who you are.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit as we wrap up towards the end, some self-care tips because we are busy. If there's anything that I loved, it was about, especially for me, because my life has been about entrepreneurs,
Mm.
lots of times busy moms wearing lots of hats. That just happened to be my audience, right? But in the midst of all of that, how did I still take care of me? Because here, I'm going to say this. We talked about, and I want to just share that, yes, we're going to talk about what I can put into my body to help with my energy, my mental clarity, my cortisol. It's going to affect my stress, which affects everything. But what we just talked about, and I didn't say in the beginning, is I always said, listen, what's on the end of your fork is important to all those things.
Yeah.
But so, right, what you're feeding yourself, but what you feed your mind
Yeah.
is more important, the most. And that's why I had to start there first, because what we just did and what we talked about, who you surround yourself with, was the most important thing. What's not on the end of your fork. Let me tell you, number 2 close is, how do I fuel my body? What do I do to have the energy? Because the more energy you have, you can put things into projects, right? The
Mhm.
more energy I have, when I'm not stressed out and tired, I'm not as snappy, maybe to my kids, not as snappy to my friends, not as snappy to my spouse. We've all
Mhm.
been snappy because we're tired.
Or my
You know?
coworkers.
Mhm.
Yes, we've all been there. So, do you mind if we talk a little bit about, can we talk about health and wellness? Because I can't
Yes,
help but talk about that a little
yes,
bit.
let's
Okay.
do
Absolutely.
it.
All right. Let's talk about you and a little bit of health and wellness, because we're covering lots of different things. So, I'm going to have you go to the next slide. And as I said in the beginning, I wanted to wrap. I remember I thought I have to get everybody's attention again. So, let's give us 5 to 10 more minutes or whatever here. But remember what we said: your body. That's what we're talking about now.
Mhm.
Mental health, which we're going to talk about, and your heart, right? Oh my gosh, that's a great, it cannot sustain long periods of burnout and stress and exhaustion.
Right.
Mhm.
So let's go to your body and that mental health. All right, let's talk about that and the well-being. So really, I want to just give tips on, how to keep up the energy. And I'm going to have you go to the next slide, and break this down a little bit. Okay. I, because I knew we'd get towards the end. Let's stop. Let's start first with sleep.
Yeah.
Oh boy, where do I start?
Important. Mhm.
Sleep. I would just say this. I remember I was working actually with a professional coach for a basketball team. So here's what I'm going to give everybody a tip, because before I share this tip, sleep, of course, is going to affect, our mood, right?
Mhm.
Sleep affects our metabolism tremendously.
Mhm.
Sleep affects our energy. And I'm going to say one more thing: sleep also affects our hormones, right?
Mhm.
And I would just say, like, because of the lack of sleep, our body will produce a different hormone called ghrelin, right? So that ghrelin is always ravenous. It's looking for energy. Matter of fact, it's kind of, everybody heard hangry before, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Hangry?
first thing
Yes.
they say.
Yes.
Because I've had many people say, well, Tracey, right? And when you're hangry and it's looking for energy because you're producing that hormone, right? What it knows quick. It wants sugar, it wants donuts, it wants cookies. I've had people say, but Tracey, I can't help it. And I'm like, I know, because you're producing ghrelin. Because
Mhm.
ghrelin, imagine he's like a gremlin. I should have thrown up a little visual here for us. He is like, I need energy now. And I need the Starbucks full of sugar, and I need the cookies and donuts, because gosh darn it, you haven't slept and you're going to push me for the next 20 hours. Well, heck yeah. So I want to talk about sleep really quickly, because I just remember him talking. I think maybe slept 3 or 4 hours a night. And so I said, okay, we're going to put together for all of you, write down the word scooch goals. Because when you can scoot yourself towards something, it becomes a habit. We've all been
Mhm.
like, I'm never going to eat the cookie again, right? Well, bull crap. And then we think we're like failures. No, you're not. And this week, can I get you go to bed 15 minutes earlier? I'm not kidding, guys. 15 minutes.
Mhm.
The next week was 15 minutes. Then I said, okay, it got scooching. Then we worked. I said, what are we fueling our body with in the morning? What are we breaking our fast with? I don't care if you break your fast at 8 a.m. I don't care if you're not breaking your fast till noon. What are you fueling to give your body energy to produce the right hormones so that you are clear? All right. So then one week, I remember we talked, we just simply, what are we going to break our fast with? What are you going to keep on hand? Like this, maybe we'll come back to another. Listen, I invited myself back. Oh my gosh, I will. But the 2 keys to wellness, like really getting down, right? But knowing what could he intentionally have on hand, because you know what? You take pride in your body. And then
Yeah.
it was lunch, and it took a while, but I want to pause. I'm going to place this. I can't even believe I'm making this example. He showed up to a speaking engagement I had almost a year later. And now it was pretty much women. I'm going to be honest. So here's a pretty, he's substantial, like he stuck out. Like, I just want you to know. He stood up and he said, oh, it was so sweet. He's like, you need to listen to her. He said, in the past year, I have lost 49 pounds.
Wow.
And he said, I'm sleeping, I'm doing these things. I'm only going to share something with you. It was more than the pounds. I want everybody to listen to something. It hit me like a ton of bricks. There are 52 weeks in a year. And when I heard him say that, I don't know why God gave it to me. I was like, he pretty much, all round numbers, basically lost a pound a week
A pound a
Mm,
week.
because
that's
he
it.
put in, but now they were habits. They were
Mhm.
scooches. His
Mhm.
eyes, oh my gosh, he looked 10 years younger. His energy, he found his mate. I'm not saying, but I mean, because he felt better, because right, all this happened. But
Right.
all of a sudden, I realized all of us want this instant gratification.
Mhm.
Mhm.
He said, I'm worthy, just like everybody listening here is worthy. I'm going to put scooch factors in place, saying no, 15 minutes. All she asked me for was one, right? Okay, what am I going to have on hand? I'm going to intentionally, what am I going to pack in a baggie when I'm on the floor, right? Because I know I'm worthy. We scooched. And 1 year later, our lives can be so much, but don't think it's all or nothing for everybody
Mhm.
listening. It is small scooches that's going to get you there, that then it's our quality of life
Mhm.
Mhm.
that's going to affect. So I want everybody to think about their sleep, right? Because I call it food mood connection, right? Your energy level. What are you putting, on the end of your fork? Intentional about, right, the snacks you have, the things that you're eating, your eating habits, and not feeling bad. I will end by this because we're at the top of the hour because we were going into the holidays. And I could talk a lot about fuel in your body and things. I'm so passionate about it because I really believe this is so important. And when I say this, I just mean this bodysuit we have. But so many people, right? You're going to dinner, you're doing things, and oh, like for example, oh, Tracy, you can afford to eat that. I don't know why, right? I get this all the time. And I
Mm.
say, listen, I said, and I always say, thank you so much, right? First of all, I want to acknowledge what they're saying. I said, but for me, eating that affects my sleep, and that sleep affects my mood and my energy level. I said, I really just can't afford to have that. Shifting that it's not about weight. Oh, Tracy, but like, no, you can go ahead. No, I really can't. Because then I've had people like go, oh my gosh, I've never thought about that. No, it's going to affect my sleep. And it's going to affect my
Mhm.
energy tomorrow. It's going to affect my mood. That food mood connection that we could talk about, and what to really, right? What you can put in your body, make it. I'm very passionate about this. Quick and
Mhm.
easy. People, right? The connotation out there, it's not going to be good. I'm going to be hungry. It's too expensive. No, because I'm telling you, that's like my passion. People on the
Mhm.
go, on a budget, busy mom, but you want to sleep and have the energy and self-care. So there you go. I want everybody to end with that.
Mhm.
We went over a lot of things here to overcome the overwhelm.
Yeah. Tracy, I want to chime in on that too. One of the things, because I look at this slide and what you've shared, the food mood and all these different things. I look at that as each one of those things, think of it as a link and a chain, right? Because they're all actually tied together, right? In some type of sequence in your life. And this is where we go back to having to have that honest discussion with self to say, of these various things that are the links in my personal chain,
Mm.
which ones am I weakest? So the weakest link. And then make sure that you take some time to focus and some energy and effort on that one, because that's going to break the chain. And which, as you just said, impacts everything down the line, right? So that's one way I think to really look at that. But again, the key component is don't think about having that self talk as being selfish or being self centered, because couple of slides back, we talked about who's the VIP. The VIP is you. You're the most important part of it. So it's critical, I think, that we have the honest assessments of ourselves and put forth the energy and effort where we do determine we have some weak links, some blind spots, and those kinds of things.
I agree with that. It's just one of the most important things, and it
Yes.
does take time and habit. Like I will just be honest, now it's gotten such a habit that I won't even go to the store. Or okay, we were at the veterinarian office well, it's probably been a month now. And I will literally throw snacks in my bag because what if I become hungry? Like I know this is silly to everybody,
No.
Every Sunday, I get my fourth of a cup. I make my nuts and things. I throw them in because I think, what if? What if we get sidetracked and my body needs energy and fuel? I am worthy to take a moment and do that and worthy so I'm not having to run through the drive through. These are the simple things. Where is that chain? And it slowing down, scooch factor, and being intentional because darn, you're so worthy. So,
Mhm. I
Absolutely
just
agree.
think we definitely have to have you back because we gotta find out exactly what's in the baggies. We need to know that.
you know that.
And the things that you're using for your health. We need to find out. It'd be nice to hear some of that stuff too.
Yeah.
So we need to have a health day with you coming back and telling us all this.
Yes, I would love to. It's been a
We didn't
pleasure.
get
And
to
then,
answer.
and then Tracy, we have one last slide. I think it's important that we kind of finish on this because it does it's questions. And I always like to end when we used to in a lot of our videos, me and I have the question of the day, and that's how we end the session. And not that we need to answer it. It's thought provoking, right? It's the whole point of it. So we'll bring that in and I think we'll wrap with this.
Oh,
Ah.
and I've always said, and I have to do this too, I want you to ask yourself, how do you want to be remembered? Your family members, your coworkers, your blueprint on social
Mhm,
media. How do you want to be remembered? What is
Yeah.
important to you? Or I should say, I said it
mhm,
right, to me.
mhm,
What is what I said in the beginning? It's okay. That's success.
mhm,
But the last one, I think everybody probably listening, there's something different. What single brave decision do you need to make it happen? Do you need to renegotiate? Are you going to have to start saying no? Oh my goodness, I need to take care of myself. It doesn't matter what that is. My gratitude, let go of something is a brave, right? Sometimes forgiveness is scary. Is there
Hmm.
something in that gratitude you can't quite get there? When I talked about right when we said, hey, um, losing a job, it could be a bad something, right? What brave decision do you need to let go of? What is that for you? Please know that you are worthy to be able to have everything that you desire. What success is for you? This is your life. And Brian and Mina does such an amazing job with this incredible network to be able to give to us because it's not just today, those questions, it's everything that all of you, each and both of you do all the time. Thank you so much because
mm,
I believe that it is the people like yourself and both of you give time that all of us can do this.
mhm.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Tracy,
Thank
so much. This
you.
has been great. This has been
Yeah.
time very well spent. Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Me,
So glad to
Mina, what did
hear
you
it.
have to say to Tracy before we get out of here for today?
Tracy, thank you so much. And we have to have you back because we need to know what's in the baggies and we need to know some more of that health information too, because we got to take care of ourselves before
yes.
we can be great in relationships, right? So
Yes.
definitely have to have you back.
Let's do
I
it. Let's
totally
do it.
100% agree with that. And, Tracy, obviously, life's a journey, right? I mean, you never actually reach that destination. We people talk about that a lot. And I think the beauty of what Mina and I do, and obviously having you come and join us, it's really been beautiful here, is to share the history, to share the story, where we've been, where we are today, but also where we want to continue to drive to get to. And but I think the road never ends. So we'll definitely have you come back, share some more, and help us grow and share with our community. I think it'll be beneficial for everyone. So we greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Well, I would be honored to be with
Yay.
both of you and share the screen and let's do this and for everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you
It's
so
wonderful.
much. Well, we're going to wrap that up. Tracy, I will definitely be talking to you soon. And again, we will definitely schedule a time to get you back in and do this again. So until we do talk, we'll say aloha to you. And then me and I will have a
Aloha.
few last words before we close out the session today.
Yep.
Thank
Tracy, take care
you.
now. We'll see
All
you
right.
soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
So, what do you have to say, Brian?
Well, I just wanted to wrap up. Say, I think this was a great session, and so we were
Mhm,
excited going into it. The information that she shared, and it just echoes a lot of the messages that we've been putting out here on the network for quite a while now. especially as,
Mhm.
she was talking about the different things, and we were saying, we have a video on gratitude, or
Mhm.
we talked about what's your why, those types of things. So all of
Mhm.
these messages are important, and then her message here too today of overcoming feeling overwhelmed and realizing that that's a harmony thing, not a balance thing, is key. And then I
Mhm.
think two big pieces for me from a just kind of final thought standpoint were the ability to say no and how critical
Mhm.
that is. And then in those moments, having to maybe renegotiate your no, because sometimes you say yes and have to take it back or
Mhm.
renegotiate that differently, I think are key. And then what she also shared about the who is the VIP, as you said, Mina. It's about
Mhm.
you, and that's okay to focus on you in that particular scenario, right? What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on?
I just think, like Chris said, great subject. Truly enjoyed it. I did too, Chris. Thank you so much for commenting. I just honestly, I think everything that she told us, some of the stuff we brought up in other videos, yes, but it's another point of view and hearing um, another perspective on some of the stuff.
Mhm.
And I really enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to having her back on what's in those baggies and talking about some of the stuff that she has for us, the health information. There's so much
Mhm.
more. I've heard her speak on some things in the past, and she's really good at it. So, looking forward to that. So, you all look forward to us bringing her back for that. It will be great.
Could not agree more. Well, that's going to do it for today, folks. Thank you so much for joining us here at the VoV Network. And we can't
Yeah.
thank Tracy enough for her time and her effort. And the
Yes.
information that was shared today was
Thank
absolutely outstanding.
you.
Uh, if you found value in what was shared here today, please be sure to like this video and also share it if you know someone in your circle who will benefit from it. And then while you're on our YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the updates.
Mhm.
That's going to do it for us today. Mina,
Right.
anything else before we get out of here?
Nothing else except aloha.
Everyone have a great weekend. Stay safe. Take care of each other. We'll see you soon. Bye now.